Yes, it's that time again. Another year prepares to collapse wheezing at the finish line, and I unveil this year's Christmas wrapping. Incredibly, the 6th Christmas wrapping. And the simplest, because I've already done a 45-minute documentary. I don't know what you people want from me. So this year, and probably in future years as well, I'm just going to look at this year's Christmas presentation and see if it's up to scratch. And unfortunately, it's not a vintage year. We start with BBC One.
The series finale of the Paradise System.
Wrapping paper.
On BBC One.
Okay, nothing wrong with that, the concept. Wrapping paper. Then what? Nope, just wrapping paper. The carol scene Robin's reading off an iPad is about as creative as it gets. The theme tune, completely inexplicably, is You Give a Little Love from Bugsy Malone. No reason for it whatsoever, but it is a lovely Christmassy arrangement of a terrific tune. Albeit one will be sick and bloody tired of by Christmas Day itself, because these started going out on the 7th of December. Please stop doing this, BBC. It's not special if we've seen them a billion times by Christmas Day itself. Not that it's particularly special anyway, to be honest. They don't really do elaborate trailer packages anymore. And increasingly it seems like the Christmas ident is something you do for the sake of the brand, rather than for the sake of the viewer. Which is as good a segue as any. You are tearing me apart, BBC Two! I mean, seriously, guys? Is this how it is now? One new Christmas ident every 3 or 4 years? Did Martin Lambinan die in vain? It's a good Christmas ident, but it was a good Christmas ident 2 years ago. And I'm sure it'll be a good Christmas ident next year as well. Unless the impossible happens and the BBC realises that both their main channels have looked the same for at least 7 years, and that they're both overdue a change and maybe even a fundamental overhaul. For which purpose might I recommend a Mr. Mark Bolton, now a successful graphic designer, who had some terrific ideas for fundamentally reshaping the BBC's on-screen identity back in the days when us frustrated graphic designers had a website for this sort of thing. ITV's theme is a no-brainer really. Their identity is standard live-action things happening with a logo on top. Just add the word Christmas before the word thing, and you're good to go. A lot of people seem to like the new look ITV, or like it more than me at least. I'm sorry, alright? It's just bland. It's just stuff and a logo on top, and a particularly poorly designed logo at that. The other ITV channels do better, apart from ITV2, don't seem to be doing anything. But ITV3's paperweight thing, reasonably Christmassy as it stands, in a 1993 BBC Two sort of way. It's a simple enough job to add a bit of snow and make it official. Although points off for perpetuating the Downton myth that the grinding life of a servant in a townhouse in the early 20th century is something to be cosily nostalgic about. Meanwhile, ITV4's just taken their usual idents and sprinkled a bit of Christmas fairy dust on them, which is fair enough for a relatively niche channel like them. No word on whether or not that's Steve from Bolton in the car. Not for the first time, it's the regions that are the real winners this Christmas. S4C, for example, has this lovely robin flying about the rooftops of Merthyr Tydfil. Or wherever. Whereas UTV goes with images of snowbound parts of the 6 counties with a CGI snowman comped in front of it. Simple, but lovely. And although the BBC's Gaelic skerry, BBC Alba, has used the same Christmas ident since 2008, they at least, almost certainly, have a budget low enough to justify it. Channel 4, for their part, are showing that snowman thing they made last year, occasionally. Gee, thanks. But the undoubted winners this Christmas are BBC Two Northern Ireland. That's right, they remade some of the Struppity 2 Christmas idents for the afternoon classic strand of repeats. Rotating models in widescreen. Now that's Christmas. Oh, almost forgot about the Christmas Radio Times. But then again, so did they apparently. I mean, it's a Raymond Briggs Father Christmas, which is good, and makes it impossible for it to be any worse than okay, but it's absolutely not one iota better than okay either. In case you've forgotten, here's what they did last year. Yeah. Except last year, the Snowman and the Snow Dog wasn't a bloody repeat! The saving grace is that for the first time in several years, the cover doesn't self-describe as legendary, or any variation thereupon, although it is used several times in publicity and the like, suggesting that the Radio Times really hasn't figured out quite how obnoxious it is to describe yourself in those terms. You know what the worst thing is? They initially approached Stephen Collins, the brilliant cartoonist for The Guardian, to do the Christmas cover this year, but they turned it down, using it instead as an advert. Somebody at that magazine needs a good talking to. So like I said, not a vintage year for Christmas presentation, but never mind, they can't all be 1993. I just wish it looked more like they were even trying to be. Be sure to check out the 3/4 hour Christmas wrapping documentary if you haven't already, and if you haven't already, why not? And I will wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and the next time we meet, it'll be the mid-teens. Time marches on. You give a little love and it all comes back to you. La 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 la. God damn it, Bugsy Malone's not even on this year.